Hey guys, welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Karina. For those of you that are new here, welcome. I today am going to be, as promised, doing some more freezer meals, but this one very specifically for my mom. She's having shoulder surgery, actually tomorrow morning, and I just want to have several meals for her that it's a complete meal. That she can just throw into the microwave or into the toaster oven and heat up and eat very easily for the next probably week and a half or so. She's not going to feel much like making anything. So I want to get a couple of those meals done for her. It's a little later in the afternoon getting started than I was expecting to. So first of all, I'm going to start with an iced latte. But today we are going to be making, let me find my coffee scoop here. We're going to be making breakfast burritos, and these are at her request, by the way. Breakfast burritos and calzones, and we're going to do a chicken broccoli rice casserole, and then we're also going to do, which she doesn't actually know about this one, I decided on the last minute to do this, a chicken noodle stir fry type thing. And then the last thing we're going to do is some lemon ricotta cookies that I haven't made in ages. I thought they would be a tasty little snack for her. So we're going to get our iced latte going here, and then we'll get started. I knew I was highly unlikely to do that without making a mess. All right, I think we're ready. I'm going to be taking some help from the store today, and I have pre-shredded cheese. And actually, I also need to get these washed up. This is what I'm going to be storing the meals in. But the first thing that we need to get started on is our dough for the calzones. So let's get that going really quick. And yeah, let's just start there. You might notice that pizza dough is a staple on my channel. I make it regularly. It's just so easy that, I don't know, I don't even hardly have to think about it. So a couple teaspoons of, this is instant yeast, and I had about 2 cups of warm water. With instant yeast, you don't have to use warm water. You can just use room temperature water. And we're going to put in about 3 tablespoons, a little bit more, of sugar. And 2 teaspoons of salt. And about 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm going to start with about 3 cups of flour. Probably going to need more than that. Is looking perfect. I'm just going to oil the pan a little bit here. And roll the dough around in it, and then we are just going to let that set here covered and rise. Probably really only will need about 30 minutes or so, but there we go. Dough is ready to go, and next we will get busy cooking up the meats that we are going to need. All right, so we have a breakfast sausage for our burritos, breakfast burritos, and we've got some Italian sausage for the calzones. So we will just, I actually forgot to get these out last night, but I had enough time this morning for them to thaw, thankfully. This is actually our last package of our Italian sausage that we made together a while back, so we are going to have to make some more. Although David did mention he actually made a big batch of spaghetti sauce with meat, with Italian sausage in it, so several of our packages are still in the freezer technically. The other thing I do like to do is kind of toast my rice in a little bit of oil. I did find that that's helped. When I started doing that, that helped with the stickiness or mushiness. We are going to flavor up this rice quite a bit as well. So some garlic powder, onion powder, pepper, and a decent amount of salt. We're going to be using chicken broth to cook it in as the liquid instead of water, which will also give it a ton of flavor. I don't know if you can see, but some of the kernels are starting to get a little nice golden brown color to them. That's perfect. Just let it go for a little bit longer. And then we'll add our broth that I just spilled everywhere. David has become our resident broth maker because he makes it so good. Look how rich that is. This is chicken stock, not beef. You can believe it. All right, and we're just going to cover this and let it cook for about 10 minutes, and then we're going to turn off the heat and just let it set. All right, so we've got our meats done, our rice is going. Let's get our chicken marinating for the stir fry, and actually we'll cut up the chicken for the casserole as well. And then I want to get the eggs mixed up, blended up, so I can get those cooked so they can start cooling. So let's start with the chicken though. All right, I'm completely making up this sauce for our marinade for the stir fry. And unfortunately I can't find my sesame oil because that would be one of my main ingredients. Well, not main, but it just adds a ton of flavor, but we will use without this time. So I just added lime juice, and we're gonna put, I don't know, half a teaspoon of fish sauce, some rice wine vinegar, I'm just gonna use the rest of this. This is a soy sauce, no soy, so soy-free soy sauce. Mom can have soy sauce, but I can't taste it if it has it in it, or I try not to, so we're going to make it with that. And just a little bit of sriracha. Mom doesn't like super spicy stuff. And then I just have this little jar of hoisin. I'm going to add maybe a 1/4 cup of that. Some garlic powder. Oh, ginger. I definitely want some ginger. Onion. ginger. And then actually, Mom had just been at a fun little gift shop with a friend of hers a while back, and they had all of these fun oils. So I thought that this would be possibly very tasty. Oh, it smells good. All right, just mix this up and then we'll give it a quick test. I usually add a little bit of sugar, so I might need to do that. No, actually this is perfect. The hoisin had enough sweetness in it. That's good. So I'm not going to use all of this for the marinade. I'm just going to coat the chicken really lightly in this, and the rest of it I will use to sauce the stir fry right as it's getting finished cooking. So I just have some chicken breast here that we'll be using for both recipes. Just cut a little of the extra fat off. And I'm going to cut it into chunks for the casserole, but I'll probably do more like strips for the stir fry. If it isn't too windy, I actually think I'm going to try and cook this on our Blackstone outside. We're going to cover that up, but let's give this guy a little bit of goodness as well. Onion powder, garlic powder, and do some paprika for a little bit of extra color. These are some fresh herbs out of my little window planters here, which I have quite the jungle going on up there. So just going to add some fresh oregano and basil. I'm also kind of making up all of the recipes. Except for the cookies. That will actually be following a real recipe. They don't always come out when I make them up like this, but these are types of meals that I have made often enough that I feel pretty comfortable and confident to mix flavors on the fly. Salt and pepper and then a little bit of olive oil. Give that a mix up and let that set for a few minutes. Just gonna get these guys covered up and in the fridge, and then we will get to our eggs and our veg for the stir fry. We're also going to be making use of my prior self's efforts and using our home canned pizza sauce for our calzones. I'm actually going to get our meats into bowls here so I can use these frying pans for our eggs. Actually, I'm going to get a few things cleaned up here first, and then we will start on the next thing. All right, let's get our eggs mixed up here. These are from last night. So let me get them put away real quickly. And actually, we're going to use the ones in the fridge first. I hard-boiled some eggs yesterday, and you know what? I'm going to wash these first really quick because they're kind of dirty. They're kind of gross looking. Yeah, I'm going to wash these first. Okay, these look much better now. I'm not sure that I'm going to use all 14 of them, but probably 12 for sure. Let me get a bowl to put eggshells in. Just throw them right into the compost. Anyway, I was saying that I hard-boiled a bunch of eggs yesterday, and one of them, like, literally practically exploded. Like, it was completely... I didn't end up using it because it was... the yolk had exploded out, and it was weird. I've never had that happen. Have you had a egg explode when you hard-boiled it? And it wasn't bad. Flavor this now. These are just some dried onion flakes. I think it gives the best flavor to eggs. I'm going to put a tiny bit of cream in here as well. It'll just keep them a little softer. We can get these on the stove and cooking away. And I am just using the same pan that I cooked the breakfast sausage in, and I just left all of the good tasty bits in there. And actually, while we are doing that, I want to get our chicken for our casserole cooking as well. Eggs are done, chicken is done. Set that off to the side to cool for a little bit. And I think what's next is we need to get our broccoli steamed for the casserole. And then, and while I'm at it, I'll go ahead and wash up the vegetables that I'll be using for the stir fry as well and get those prepped. And then we will do the white sauce, the cheesy sauce for the casserole as well. So, veg first. Our pizza dough has fully risen, but we are not quite ready to fry it. So, the wonderful thing about bread dough is you can just punch it down and it will rise back up again and be ready when we're ready for it. All right, let's get our broccoli going first here. And you could definitely use frozen broccoli for this. I'm going to make these fairly small. Gonna throw a little chunk of butter in here. And there's just a little bit of water on the bottom there. And just a bit of salt. Oops. And we're just gonna let them steam for, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 minutes, just so they start getting a little soft, and they will finish cooking in the actual dish. I actually think I'm going to use this guy in our stir fry. Do you guys ever use your broccoli stalks and things? If you pull the tough skin off of it, that's actually quite sweet and tasty. I love it. But you definitely want to get the skin off because it's very tough. The girls will love it though. We actually just used the last of our carrots from the garden last year, which is kind of exciting that they lasted as long as they did. I'm actually going to shred these. This just ensures that everything kind of cooks at the same rate and has the same amount of crunch to it at the end. I have a little bit of this pepper left over, so we'll use that up. Oh dear, I left the sticker on. Oops. Now I have to find all the pieces that have sticker on it. Sorry, Mom, if you get a piece of sticker. I think I got it all. I probably don't need these. And then this is just a bunch of cilantro and scallions. We'll chop up nice and small, and that'll all get added at the end. I also chopped up some red onion for our calzones. And I did some cabbage for our stir fry. These are our noodles that we'll be using. Unfortunately, it has gotten too windy to be able to go outside and use the Blackstone. It just does not work very well in the wind. So I think the last thing we need to make before we can start assembling things is the cheesy sauce for the casserole. The broccoli is done, chicken's done, eggs are done, veg is all ready for stir fry. Yeah, we're really close to be able to start assembling things. So I'm going to get these two things, the eggs and the chicken. Well, actually, I'm just going to put the chicken and the broccoli in with the rice and the eggs on in a bowl and in the fridge. And then we can do our sauce. I did rinse the broccoli in cold water as soon as I drained it so it would stop cooking. All right, so that's our rice, chicken, and broccoli all ready to go. Oh, that's gonna be good. Looks yummy. All ready. Let's get some cheesy sauce going. Actually just did another quick reset on the kitchen, cleaned up some pans and dishes, get them out of the sink. Just gonna give my cast iron here a quick oil and smoke. For those of you that don't have cast iron, you can't leave it wet, and so you need to make sure it's completely dry. And the best way to do that is to put it back on the heat for a while. And then you don't have to do it every single time, but probably every third or so time that I use my cast iron, because at this point it's super well seasoned. I do put oil on it, high smoke point oil. What am I using? I'm using grapeseed oil? Yeah, grapeseed oil. And let it smoke. And that just kind of re-ups the seasoning on the pan. And you do want to make sure that it's a super, super thin film of oil on there. Like, you practically can't see it anymore when you've wiped it off. All right, so we're gonna let that smoke for a second. In the meantime, oh, goodness gracious. I'm going to get started on our white sauce for our casserole. We are going to put 2 tablespoons of butter. No, it was just a little less than 2 tablespoons, so. To melt, and then we're gonna get some flour in there. I do also need to get some cheddar cheese shredded up here, both for the casserole and for our breakfast burritos. I'm gonna get my flour in here really quick while it's melting. I'm gonna put 2.5 tablespoons of flour in here. And we're just gonna let that cook together for a minute. Cook off that raw flour taste, and then we will add milk. I'm gonna do 1.5 cups of milk. And we might add a little bit more, but I kind of want this to be on the thicker side. And then we're just gonna let that bubble away here until it thickens up. And let's see. I guess the thing I should do now is get these guys all cleaned up, because we're gonna need them here pretty shortly. I've turned the heat off on our sauce. It's a nice consistency. I think I'm pretty happy with that. And then I'm just going to add cheese a little bit at a time and stir it in. And then I actually am going to let this cool all the way down before I add it to our casserole, because I want everything to be cool when I put it together, so things don't, like the rice and the chicken and, well, all of it, any of it, broccoli, continue to cook. All right, just a little bit more. It's probably 1 cup of cheese, grated cheese altogether. And then we'll sprinkle more on the top as well of each one. See how this tastes. Yum. So good. I did add a little bit of garlic powder and some mustard powder as well. It was perfect. Salt's perfect. I don't need to add anything to it. But like I said, I do want this to cool completely down before I put things together. So while I'm waiting for that, I'm just going to take a little break, sit down for a couple minutes and finish my latte, and then we'll get back to it. Had a nice little sit down for about 10 minutes or so. Our stuff isn't cool yet, but I figured all our stuff for our calzones is cool, and actually it doesn't really even need to be cool, so we might as well get these all put together, because Honestly, this is gonna take the longest of all of the things to put together. So we are also going to be eating these for dinner tonight, which is coming up rapidly. So we should get them done. All right, let's get some flour down here. And our dough out, which looks beautiful. I actually did punch it down a second time. And as you can see, it still rose up again. So I think I'm going to aim for these to be kind of mini-ish size. So I'm thinking and I like to cut them up like this, shape them into balls, and then let them set for a little bit so they can relax again. Otherwise, it's really difficult to roll them out because they will just keep springing back. But it's nice to have them in a ball shape because then they kind of roll out a little more evenly. And there we go. All right, we have our first batch ready to go in, and one of my extra little things I like to do is just brush the outside with more of the sauce. Give it a little bit of extra flavor and color. This year when I make my pizza sauce, I am going to cook it down just a bit more than I did this last year. And then sprinkle a little bit of cheese on the top, because you can never have too much cheese, in my opinion. And thankfully my family agrees with me. All right, and then I have my oven preheated to 435. So we are just going to pop these in there probably for 15 to 20 minutes. And I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to roll out. So I will just get those done and on a second tray and in the oven as well. Our cheese sauce and our broccoli casserole are ready to be put together and portioned out. This one will go quick. Our second set of calzones is in the oven. Actually, let me show you the first set that have already come out and are looking lovely. So just gonna mix this all together. I'm gonna give it a quick taste test, just to make sure seasonings are right all the way across the board, but I think it should be. A little piece of broccoli, and kind of like a small piece of chicken. There we go. That's delicious. Yum. Yeah, I don't think it needs anything at all. So we are just going to package this up. And just going to sprinkle a little bit of our cheese on top. And these are ready to go into the freezer. And you could, at this point, if you wanted to put this in a big casserole dish, you could easily do that and just bake it at 350 till it's all nice and bubbly. But these will be perfect like this. All right, and then our stir fry will go in these guys. For now, these are just going to go out into the refrigerator. Just going to get these off of the tray so they don't get soggy on the bottom. Beautiful. And our second set of calzones is ready to come out as well. I know I said mini, and these aren't really all that mini, but that's okay. They'll be a good meal. And speaking of which, it is time for us to have some dinner. It's almost 6 o'clock. So, going to have some dinner, and then all we have left to do, actually we still have quite a bit left to do, make the stir fry and get that all dished up, which I'll get that done first so it can cool down as well. And then get our breakfast burritos wrapped up. I'm unsure if the cookies are going to get done today. They might have to come another day because I do want to get this over to Mom's house tonight. So, and we do have to get up really early. She has to be at the hospital at 5:30 in the morning. Yikes. So we both need to get to bed rather early. Anyway, so definitely the burritos and the stir fry need to get done right after dinner, and then we'll see where we are. The calzones were delicious for dinner. Now I'm heating up our wok, which is already pretty darn hot, so I should probably get our chicken in there. Give it a quick stir again. Alright, get a little more oil in here and get our veg in. And I do like to use these, the powder packet that comes with the noodles, just as a bit of a flavoring for the veg. Sometimes I'll also put it in my the sauce, but this time I'm just going to use it with the veg. Chicken back in. And our sauce. Turn off our heat. And last but not least, our cilantro and green onions. That's so pretty, my goodness. Let's just give it a quick little taste. It's going to be very hot. Mm-hmm. Yep. Perfect. All right, we're gonna let that cool down and let's get our burritos wrapped up. Almost the home stretch here. Our eggs and sausage. And cheese and tortillas. And I know that you just saw me do these. If you watched my last, actually, I think I've done breakfast burritos in every single food prep video I have made because it is that much of a favorite of ours in this family. Lots of leftover eggs, but that's okay. The girls can have them. They love some eggs. Love them some eggs. Thankfully, they haven't figured out that they can peck their own eggs and break them and eat them. All right. Let me clean this up a little bit, and then we'll get these wrapped up and be almost done. All right, last of the dishes are done. I have a pan to put away, and of course the dishes that are sitting here drying, but the dishwasher's going and everything is clean. So, whew, it actually didn't take quite as long as I thought it was going to. So I started probably around 1 o'clock, and it is 7 o'clock right now, and I took a couple of breaks plus a dinner break, and yeah, so not too bad. And we have 10 like dinner entree type things, the 5 of the casserole and 5 of the stir fry, and then we have, I think I got 10 or 12 of the breakfast burritos plus 9 of the calzones. So I think she should be in pretty good shape. Oh, plus I do have a sourdough baguette that I'm going to bring over as well. I made that yesterday, and I made 3 of them, and we don't need 3. So I will bring one of those over to her, and yeah, she should have some good, and I know that she also did some prep. She did some lasagna rolls for herself, so, and of course I live 10 minutes away, so I can come bring her more things as she needs them. But I hope you enjoyed another meal prep day with me, and I will see you next time. Have a great night. Bye.